Hey everybody, this is Dave Reynolds and welcome to AGF, Amazing Guitars Friday. And today we're going to take a look at what represents the very first guitar ever, which hails from the Renaissance period. And this is an example of it. This is a replica. From what I understand, there are no surviving instruments from that early period in the Renaissance. So any guitar that you would see from that earliest period, especially that looks like this, would be a replica, would have been made at a later date. And I do have a book right here, which is fascinating. This is a facsimile of the original music from 1551, I believe this book is dated. And there's a picture on the front of here of an instrument, a Renaissance guitar, that modern luthiers, and I'm sure luthiers, for hundreds of years have used to determine the size of the instrument and the possible construction of the instrument, the size. So that's an important piece of literature for Renaissance guitar music and history. I have a couple of other books that you might be interested in, the guitar from the Renaissance to the present day. Harvey Turnbull, that's a cool book if you're interested in reading some of this. Concise History of the Classic Guitar by Graham Wade. And there is a picture in here, and I'm sure you can find it online, of what they think is a representation of a Renaissance guitar, but from a slightly later time. I think this says 1625, which would have been more like in the Baroque period, but this is definitely not a Baroque guitar. So you can take a look at that and what they have to say about that. Surviving Vihuela in Paris. And that's what they think, but based on the measurements and the way it was built. Probably made about 1625 and was kept by nuns in the convents until 1911 when it was placed in the church. Really cool stuff. So anyway, that's an awesome book. Here's a good book, The Guitar and Its Music from the Renaissance to the Classical Era. These are two of the foremost scholars, James Tyler and Paul Sparks. I mean, they just do incredible work. So if you ever see their names, pay attention. This is a serious book, very informative, academic in a sense. I mean, this is where you're going to get your real meat from. Here's a great book, Guitars, Music, History, Construction, and Players from the Renaissance to Rock. The cover's seen better days. But this is a fantastic book. It's got great pictures in it, lots of information. I suggest this book highly if you're interested in researching some of this stuff. So, let's get back to the Renaissance guitar. We'll talk a little bit about what it's made out of. Oh, I gotta flip back to my construction sheet here. Sorry about that. Bird's Eye Maple sides and back. Engelmann spruce top. Cherry neck and bridge, rosewood pegs and strap buttons, and there you can get a look at the peg, and there's a strap button. There's also one on the bottom, and my wife made this awesome strap. I don't think there's any photos of anybody playing these instruments from the very earliest days, so how they played them is not exactly known, but the strap helps me because it's a super small instrument, and it definitely took some adjusting for me to learn how to play this instrument. As far as the strings go and the tuning, they call these courses as opposed to strings. So it's a 4-course instrument, but it's a 7-string guitar. So maybe this is our original, first ever 7-string guitar. But the first string is a single course. It has 1 string. The second string is a double course. The third string is a double course at unison, as was the second. The fourth string, or course rather, is at an octave. So the notes are as if you put a capo at the 5th fret of the guitar, modern guitar, and played the top 4 strings. So you would have G, C, E, A. And that's the great thing about being able to adapt these instruments and the tuning to the modern guitars, that you can study some of the pieces even if you don't have access to an instrument like this. And I didn't until my doctorate degree, in my bachelor's degree, and in my master's degree. For the most part, I used a modern guitar. I think we had a lute for my master's degree, which is at Towson University. And but it wasn't until my doctorate that I really dug in and had access to all these instruments. So you can also tune your guitar, modern guitar, like a lute, a 6-course lute, by using a third fret at the, by using a capo at the 3rd fret and lowering the 3rd string by a half step. So those are just good pointers or tips for you if you want to get involved in some of this stuff. So what did they play on these instruments? A lot of times they accompanied singers, and they also would perform pieces that were written instrumental dances. It could have been vocal pieces, and it wasn't until the Baroque that you really had people composing specific, virtuoso instrumental pieces. So that's something good to know about the Renaissance. The music is quite beautiful, quite restrained. I'll play a little bit of a piece, a Galliard by Guillaume Morlet. This is at 1552, and this comes out of this collection. This has 4 separate books in it that were combined into one. So this song comes from that historical document for sure. And I'll play a little bit of this. I did some of this on Facebook already, and then what I'll do is I'll play a version of a song that I wrote for Amazing Guitars, the stage show. It's like a soundtrack, an opening song, theme song, if you will. So I'll play that on the way out, so you can hear the Renaissance guitar in a modern composition, how I used it. So let me play a little bit of this. So that's the Renaissance guitar, a replica, an example of the very first guitar, which is important for all guitarists to know where our roots are, where we got started. And I hope you enjoyed that. And if you ever get a chance to play a Renaissance guitar, do it. Just get a feel for it, for the technique of it, and how you can get your fingers into those tight little spots and play some of these things. And also, as far as the ornaments go, in there you heard me play a arpeggio, but there's really no documentation of whether or not the Renaissance guitarist played any ornaments or trills or arpeggios. I try to keep them to a minimum when I play these pieces, realizing that they were restrained. So very few, I think, of ornaments and arpeggios in this style of music. All right, anyway, have a great Friday. Have an excellent week, and I will see you back here, and enjoy the Amazing Guitars theme song on the way out. Have an excellent day.